Deep in the heart of the Ozarks, where limestone bluffs meet ancient rivers, lie secrets buried by time and water. The Shoals Lake area isn't just a haven for fishermen and vacationers. It's a place where history has a way of refusing to stay dead. Tonight, we re-pulling back the curtain of fog and folklore to explore 3 chilling anomalies that haunt this corner of Arkansas. These aren't your typical campfire tales. These are stories whispered by locals, born from strange events and unexplained phenomena that suggest something profound and unsettling is happening just beneath the surface. From the concrete heart of a massive dam to a village unstuck in time and a graveyard lost to the depths, we journey into the shadows of the Shoals. Our first story takes us to the Shoals Dam itself, a true marvel of mid-century engineering. When it was completed back in 1951, it was one of the largest concrete structures on the planet. Over 2 million cubic yards of aggregate and cement were poured to tame the mighty White River, creating the vast lake we know today. It was a symbol of progress, a testament to human ingenuity. But what if, in our haste to control nature, we trapped something else within those colossal walls? My great-uncle was one of the men who built his life around that dam. He worked the night shift at the powerhouse for over 30 years. He knew its every groan, every hum, every vibration. Most people hear the roar of the turbines and think of electricity, of power being sent out across the state. But my uncle heard something more. He told me that on the quietest nights, when the air was still and the only sound was the thrum of the 8 massive generators spinning at full capacity, another sound would emerge. It was faint at first, a subtle rhythm you could feel more than hear. He described it as a drumming, coming from deep within the thickest parts of the concrete, from the very core of the dam. He was adamant that this wasn't mechanical. It wasn't the echo of machinery or the stress of the structure settling. He'd spent his entire career listening to those sounds, and this was different. He called it a heartbeat, a slow, powerful, organic pulse that seemed to sync with the flow of the water pressing against the wall. His theory was as chilling as the deep water itself. He believed that when they flooded the valley, they didn't just submerge old farmsteads and forests. They disturbed something ancient, something that had been dormant in the riverbed for millennia, a life form or an energy that predated humanity. He imagined this entity, this primeval force, being pinned down by millions of tons of concrete. And now it wasn't just trapped, it was connected. He swore it was drawing power from the hydroelectric generators, siphoning off a trickle of the immense energy produced every second to sustain itself. It was feeding on the dam's lifeblood, not to escape, but to wait. Waiting for the day the concrete finally succumbs to age and pressure, for the inevitable hairline cracks to widen into fissures. Waiting for the moment it can be free. The next time you stand on that overlook, feeling the vibration of the dam under your feet, listen closely. You might just feel the heartbeat of what's waiting inside. From the modern marvel of the dam, our next story pulls us back in time, or perhaps into several times at once. We travel down the road to Mountain Village 1890, a charming historical attraction that meticulously recreates an Ozark settlement from the late 19th century. Visitors flock here to wander through the authentic buildings, the old general store, the stately Martin House, the one-room schoolhouse. It's a place where history feels preserved, like a photograph you can step into. But some locals will tell you that history here isn't just preserved. It's alive and alarmingly unstable. While tourists admire the blacksmith's forge and the vintage doctor's office, those who know the village's secrets give one particular exhibit a wide berth, especially after dusk. It's the old jail cell, a cramped cage of iron bars, often called the hot box. It's a grim piece of history, but its modern reputation is even darker. Eyewitnesses, including park staff and late-night security, have reported the iron bars beginning to glow with a faint blue electric light. It's been described as a cold fire, a form of static discharge that makes the air around it feel heavy and charged. There's no power source, no logical explanation for how century-old iron could suddenly hum with otherworldly energy. But the glitches in time at Mountain Village get even more specific. The most unsettling account came just last summer. A tourist from out of state was finishing his tour near closing time. He was peering through the window of the old bank building, expecting to see the usual display of potbelly stove, a teller's cage, and a mannequin dressed as a banker. But that's not what he saw. For a split second, the scene was entirely different. He claimed he saw a man in a sleek, modern, dark suit sitting at a desk that wasn't there. And on that desk was a computer, its screen glowing with streams of cascading green digital code, like something out of a science fiction movie. The man looked up, made eye contact with the tourist, and then the tourist blinked. In that instant, the man, the desk, and the glowing computer were gone. In their place stood the familiar mannequin in its period-appropriate vest and trousers. The tourist was shaken, trying to rationalize what he'd seen. Was it a reflection? A prank? But the image was too clear, too detailed. It's as if the village occupies a weak point in the fabric of space-time. A place where 1890, the present day, and perhaps even a distant future like 2090 are all bleeding into one another. The village isn't just a reconstruction of the past. It might be an intersection, a temporal anomaly where different eras flicker in and out of existence. And if you're there at just the right or wrong moment, you might catch a glimpse of a time that isn't your own. Our final story takes us out onto the water itself, to the vast, deep expanse of Bull Shoals Lake. Before this lake could be born, a monumental task had to be undertaken. The valley that would be flooded was dotted with small communities, farms, and cemeteries. To honor the dead, an extensive project was launched to relocate the graves from 7 different cemeteries to higher ground. It was a somber, meticulous process. Records were kept, and crews worked to ensure that every pioneer, every Civil War soldier, and every child was moved to a new, safe resting place. They say they moved every last one. But that's where the official story ends, and the unsettling legend begins. The records for the 7th cemetery were reportedly destroyed in a courthouse fire shortly before the valley was inundated. In the rush to complete the dam project, with the paperwork gone, the location of this final graveyard was lost. The waters of the White River began to rise, and the 7th cemetery, with its forgotten inhabitants, was swallowed by the newly formed lake, out of sight, out of mind. But some things refuse to be forgotten. Today, seasoned fishermen who know the lake's every cove and channel tell stories of strange phenomena that occur in a specific, unmarked area of the lake, particularly when the mist hangs thick and low over the water. They report seeing lights moving far beneath the surface. These aren't the lights of other boats, nor are they the glow of fishing lures. They describe them as soft, glowing orbs, like spectral lanterns, arranged in neat, deliberate rows, some 75 feet down on the lake floor. They appear and disappear without a trace, moving in silent procession in the dark water. This area has come to be known as the 7th Site. The most terrifying accounts are tied to the dam's warning horn, which blares across the water to signal the opening of the floodgates. The legend says that if you are in a boat directly over the 7th Site at the exact moment that horn sounds, your sonar screen will go haywire. For a few brief, chilling moments, it won't show the contours of the lakebed. Instead, it will display the unmistakable grid of a small town. It shows streets, buildings, and structures that never existed on any official map. It's a phantom town, a digital ghost on the screen. The belief is that this is the town connected to the lost cemetery, and its inhabitants, still tethered to their submerged home, are waiting. They are waiting for the water to recede, for the flood to end, so they can finally leave their watery graves and go home. From a heartbeat in the concrete, to a glitch in time, to a ghost town at the bottom of a lake, the Bull Shoals area holds its mysteries close. These stories are more than just local lore. They are persistent, recurring accounts from credible people who have experienced something they cannot explain. They remind us that for all our progress and all our engineering, there are forces and histories that lie just outside our understanding. So the next time you visit the Ozarks and gaze out over the serene waters of Bull Shoals Lake, remember what might be stirring in the depths, what might be flickering in the corners of history, and what might be waiting just beneath your feet. Thanks for watching. If you have a local legend you think we should investigate, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more journeys into the unexplained.